Hey guys, I'm Morthadon and we are back for Symphogear Season 1, Episode 6. So, last time we learned the name of the Nehushtan armor chick. Her name is, Chris. Wow, I almost forgot it. She was accompanied by a naked lady that we do not have the name of, who seems to be, torturing her a bit, which is not great. Unless Chris enjoys it, then that's fine, but didn't seem like Chris was enjoying it very much. So I look forward to learning more about that relationship, not for the naked girl part, just for the part, yeah. But I talked in the discussion last episode about, like, every time we see Kanade, it's like she always seems so much older than she is, like, thinking about the fact that she died when she was, what was it? She was like 14 when it started, and then, yeah, I think I said she was like 17, 16 or 17 or something like that, but she seems so much older. But she just seemed like she had that wisdom about her because she was kind of like a mentor to Tsubasa and everything. But we have Sakurai being up to some stuff. I don't know what, like, possibly a traitor, maybe working for another organization or something, but it doesn't seem like it didn't seem like she's working for the organization that has the Nehushtan armor and all that, but I don't know. So is there like a third faction involved? But there's also the Americans, but the Americans were talking to the naked lady that was with the Nehushtan armor, so it's crazy. I can't wait to learn more about it. But yeah, and we had Tsubasa continuing to be edgy and emo about failing to die and stuff like that. No, it's more serious, and I make jokes, but yeah, I look forward to seeing more. So let's jump into it, shall we? Alrighty, we're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Solomon's cane. She mad. We also got a possible name. She said Fine, like spelt fine, but with an accent, an Enye over the E. So, I don't know if that's Naked Girl's name, or if that's someone else's name, but I wrote it down. Interesting. So she was preparing for Solomon's cane? Is that another relic, then? Interesting. Cleaning glasses, by the way. Sometimes I turn all my lights on and everything to start recording, and I realize that my glasses are filthy, and I'm like, I just want to get started. And I didn't want to spend the time to clean them before I record, so I figure, hey, while the opening goes on, I will clean them. And they're mostly better. Oh, just in time. I'm just kidding. Alright. Where omens lead. Ominous omens. Oh. Oh. Not a great lot you've been given in life, huh? Well, shit. She didn't know to say anything. Well, shit. Trying to do some rehabilitation, it seems like. Get back on our feet. Damn. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. The way she's. Huh. Always running on ahead of you. Anime characters are always on track teams, it feels like. Alright, well. Okay. That happened. So they just brought it back. Makes sense. Hmm. Ooh. Interesting. Well, damn. Why did they show us the coffee with the lipstick on it? What is the meaning? Just. Sorry, I'm busy. Bye. Hmm. Miku's such a good friend, but I feel like at some point it's gonna boil over. I'm just waiting for the moment where Miku's frustration with not knowing everything that's going on with Hibiki just is too much for her to ignore. You can see it in her face every now and then, but she's putting on that front to be a good friend. What? 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 Oh. She wasn't she wasn't in her room, so she thought, "Oh shit. Jesus." I thought it was just because she wasn't in the room. Tsubasa a slob. She helps clean up. Hmm. You could clean it yourself. I mean, I know she's hurt right now, but it makes it sound like she normally. Sounds like she normally has him cleaning up, even when she's not hurt. Uh. Uh oh. Miku. My hobby. Wonder what Tsubasa's gonna. Hmm. Yeah. Tsubasa talking about Hibiki punishing herself. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought she was upset about, but then her calling herself weak before was like confused me on the matter a little bit, but I think that solidified my understanding. I love the background tracks in this song, like all episodes so far. They might be ones that have played in other episodes too. I'm sure they have, but I'm just really noticing it this episode. Oh. Alright. Cool. Well, their relationship seems a bit better than when they first started, where it was, fight me! 3 times as much as everyone else. Oh. Oh. Adults are so wise. Unfortunately, there's so many things that Hibiki can't say, so you probably won't get the answer that you want, which sucks. Oh, she said that to someone else too. that lady at that restaurant is just like telling people that same thing. It's her one words of wisdom she tells everyone that comes in. whether it works or not, it just happened to work in this situation for Miku. Oh shit. No rest for the wicked, huh? Uh-oh. Gonna run right by her. Oh. I was... Oh shit! Oh, is Miku just gonna find out? Oh shit. Oh, Chris doesn't want to hurt other people. Oh shit! Is Chris gonna save her? Or, oh, no. Well, I think Miku's about to find out. Yep. Well, bye to your freedoms, Miku. Your freedom of speech is now limited. Jeez, Chris, language. That isn't my name. Just, I'll tell you my weight if we get to know each other better. Well, determination. Yes. You have a foul mouth, girl. Okay. I sense there's something to teach. Nirvana Geddon again. Well, I just realized that sounded weird to say. Nirvana Geddon again. What? What did your beefy eyes see, Genjiro? Oh shit! Oh shit! What? She trying to summon her armed gear? Oh shit! Her armed gear will be her fists. Oh shit! Get over here! Oh damn! Rocket punch! And then it kicks back! Yes! Oh, that's cool. Oh shit! You probably just lost a couple ribs there, girl. Well, I don't know what's worse. Shit. Alright, forgot we have credits. Whenever I see this show and Fire Force does it too, where there's a to be continued and then the credits go on. And whenever that happens, I'm like, oh, to be continued. Alright, episode's over. And then it's like, nope, credits. But that was a really good episode. Oh man. So Miku knows now, and I was just about to say, I don't know if that's better or worse for Miku to know. Like, I wonder what her reaction will be, because it seemed like Miku was... Obviously, it seems like Miku has feelings for Hibiki a little bit, right? Like, at least I get those vibes. Honestly, sometimes it's hard to tell in anime, because, like, every anime has, even if the girls are straight and stuff like that, they have scenes like in the bathtub episode we saw, or the bathtub part we had this episode, where they start like tickling each other and everything. Like, that always happens. Like, that happens in a lot of anime and everything. So sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate just like the closeness between friends to love interest kind of stuff. But uh, that is actually it for episode 6. But yeah, sometimes it's just hard for me to differentiate between, like, does she like Hibiki, or are they just really close friends? Like, Hibiki here mentioned never having a boyfriend in her life. Did she say that because social norms are for people to, like, assume boyfriend, but maybe she's never had a boyfriend because she doesn't like boys? Or is it something where Miku likes her, but maybe she doesn't, maybe Hibiki doesn't roll that way? Either way, like, I don't know that it matters if Hibiki likes boys or girls, or, it really doesn't matter whether Miku likes boys or girls or not, but in this situation for Miku, I think seeing Hibiki with Tsubasa gave Miku the wrong idea. I think that's what bothered Miku so much, is that I think she's worried that, like, oh, I don't think she's worried, like, oh no, she might have another friend and she's, like, replacing me. I didn't get that vibe from Miku there. What I got was, oh, what if, she's forming a relationship with Tsubasa over, instead of me. Maybe she doesn't like me in that way, but I like her in that way, kind of thing. Um, but now, like, now that Miku sees that she's doing this stuff, I imagine her mind goes to a completely different spot. Got a hair in my mouth. Like I imagine she's not gonna think the way she thought previously, right? Like, she has a whole new insight into what Hibiki's been doing. So I asked it before. I wonder which one's worse for her. Like, would she rather it have just been Hibiki liking Tsubasa kind of thing? Or is it a relief to her that the big secret is that she's been, fighting like this kind of thing? But I mean, there has to be a conversation now, right? There's no way, unless they have, like, a Men in Black, like, boop, and just, like, make you forget kind of thing. Like, now I'm doubting myself. I think the Men in Black, yeah, made you, like, forget stuff, yeah. So either they have something like that so it can go back to the way it was, or, you're not getting that cat back in the bag unless you have something like that. So there's no way you can be like, oh no, that was someone else. It's like she was right there and transformed right in front of her. So I'm looking forward to the conversation that they have and everything. And it's obviously been building up for several episodes of I'm actually kind of surprised it happened this quickly. I thought it was going to be something where Miku got more and more frustrated with Hibiki being dodgy, and like I said during the episode, she's putting up a good front for her friend and being like, "Oh yeah, no, it's okay. Go, ditch me again," kind of thing. And, like, she just kept doing that and doing that and doing that. And I figured at one point it'd get too much for Miku, and she'd say something, and it almost seemed like she was getting to that point. But then this happened, so, but yeah, it happened a little bit sooner than I thought it was gonna. But yeah, it was just interesting, like, me trying to understand everyone's, like, thought processes and everything too, like, trying to, like, when Miku saw Tsubasa, like, obviously my first thought was jealousy of, like, a love interest kind of thing, but which I think I was still right on the money for that one. But now this is funny because I wrote down just Miku saw as just, like, a reminder, because, like, my memory is crap. Sometimes I'll watch an episode, and especially because I'm a solo reactor, so there's no one else to, like, talk for me while I think of, like, the next thing to say. So I kind of go from one thing to the next. I don't really stop and think about, like, what to talk about next in the episode. I go from thing to thing, and sometimes I'll forget, like, oh, I want to talk about that because I'm just nonstop rambling. and stuff like that. Obviously, I could, if I really needed to, I could stop and think and then just edit the blank space out of me thinking. But for the most part, I just jot down little notes throughout these episodes as I go, just to remind me of what to talk about in the discussion. So when I wrote down Miku saw, I was referencing the part where Miku saw Hibiki and Tsubasa, but then later on in the episode, when Miku saw Hibiki change, I was gonna write down another note to like remember to talk about that, and I saw my Miku saw note, and I was like, that one works. I'll think about that for both those instances. It was just a funny little thing, but yeah. The conversation between Hibiki and Tsubasa was interesting in the hospital with it's interesting because this is Tsubasa's life, right? She considers herself a warrior. She's only there to fight. That's how she sees herself. So this life she's leading is everything to her. So it's really interesting to have someone like Hibiki come into the story to shake up the way she might view life. And it seemed like Kanade was even shaking that up too with the with talking about like what there is after fighting. And you know, Tsubasa was already kind of like being like, well, I wanna see what's there in life other than fighting, kind of thing that she mentioned this episode. So Kanade kind of started that trigger for Tsubasa. But then we have Hibiki come in, who's like, oh yeah, this is like helping people's a hobby, you know, and you could see it kind of in Tsubasa's face because this is something that Tsubasa puts her everything into. And then there's this other person that's here doing it with her that's just like, I do it every now and then. It's just a hot, like, doesn't think as much of it as she does. And I thought that was a really interesting dynamic in that conversation. And I thought it was going to frustrate Tsubasa and be like, you need to take this more serious kind of thing. But I actually really like Tsubasa's responses to what she was saying, kind of just... And it almost seemed like she was kind of talking to herself a little bit there as well. But yeah. Another little character moment I enjoyed this episode was Hibiki thinking to herself about how it wasn't that she couldn't control Durandal that scared her. It was the fact that she so easily swung at another person, another human. And that's what kind of led her down the path of the conversation they had this episode of wanting to try and understand the people that they're fighting and try to not fight. And as we saw with her in front of Chris, she tried her best to humanize herself by giving her name and all these stats about herself and being like, see, we're just human. We can communicate with each other. We can talk. We don't have to fight. And I honestly really like... I'm sure there's a lot of people that dislike that, and they're just like, no, just fight. This is an anime. I want to see these characters fight. But I won't say I'm a complete pacifist, right? But I am more on the spectrum, like, towards pacifism. Like, a lot of the times in even video games that I play, if it's one of those games where you can make choices, and you can choose, like, whether to just fight these people, or you can find a clever way around the situation and talk through it and stuff like that. I'm always the one to talk through it. And hell, I could go through, like, a whole game making choices where I fight as little as possible, and that's more along my play style. And, you know, I'm not very confrontational and everything, so I think that Hibiki being that way kind of really speaks to me of her trying to be like, hey, you know, we don't have to fight. So, and I felt like it was kind of refreshing because in not every anime, there's plenty of other anime I've seen where the main character like tries to stop and talk to the people and be like, hey, we don't have to fight. But I think a lot of anime also just have, oh, someone comes and attacks the main character, well, he fights back until he wins, kind of thing. So I do like this change of pace dynamic kind of thing for Hibiki, which is pretty cool. But we also had a bit with talking about the new minister and how the the old minister was against the security upgrades, but it was for their own good to stay within the law and everything and make sure that they don't get nailed by any, like, violations. It was interesting that Gendro was... At first, I thought he was saying, like, oh, it might be good that he's dead because now that we can do these upgrades. At first, I thought that was kind of where he was going. But the more he spoke about the old minister, I was like, oh, he seemed to, like him and said he kept us in line and everything. But now this new one is, like, doing these security, or, like, granting these security upgrades that were held back before. He's more pro-American and stuff like that. So... things are probably about to get pretty complicated, and now I am super worried after hearing that about the security upgrades, that these security upgrades might not be a good thing. What if they're being implemented as part of, like, a plan by either maybe Sakurai or someone else, and they're slipping little, like, trying to add, like, a back door, but, like, through these security upgrades, that they can access Durandal and take it more easily. I don't know. I obviously don't know if that's the case, but when they mention that, like, that the previous guy Genjiro seemed to trust and didn't do the security upgrades, and now being, like, a little more wary about this new guy and now getting security upgrades, and him being pro-American, like, what are these security upgrades kind of thing. But everyone thinks they're good until they get broken into. But interesting stuff. As for more along the lines of the start of the episode, we had Chris talking about Fine, which might be that girl's name. It seems like it is. And Solomon's Cane, which I already talked briefly about it possibly being another relic. That's really all I have to go off of, because she talked about, like, training to use it kind of thing. But unless maybe that's her, could that be her weapon? Because I know she's using the Nehushan armor, right? Is Solomon's Cane, like, the whip she's using, maybe? Or is Solomon's Cane something that she's not using yet? I guess I'm not sure. We'll find out, I imagine, eventually. So you guys don't have to tell me that one in the comments. I'd rather learn it through the show. So, but unless it's been mentioned before, I know there were a lot of pop-ups for the abilities, and I wasn't remembering all of them. If they mentioned, like, if they did splash art of Solomon's Cane across the screen, that you can let me know in a previous episode that I have, this episode or earlier. Let me know, because I do miss things sometimes too. So, but either way, we also, which I think is the biggest part of that beginning bit, was seeing glimpses of Chris's past, who, seems like from a young age she has been on her own and been, like, captured by people and stuff like that. I'm interested to learn what that's about, because, like, I mean, was that, like, a human trafficking or something? Like, if I go back to some of those images, maybe it was, like, another attack or something. Let's see. Yeah, so she's, like, over some dead bodies, some kind of, like, war or fight, maybe the noise or something. I don't know if that's her parents that she's over, but then, like, these assholes with guns have a bunch of kids tied up and everything. Oh, what the hell? My episode froze. Stop it! Why you freeze? It's just stuck. Okay, well, so much for that. Either way, I saw what I wanted to see. I wanted to make sure that the people that I saw did have, like, guns. Like, I know she was, like, I remember seeing her, like, her hands tied up and everything, but yeah. I mean, I say I look forward to learning more about that. I look forward to learning more about that for the information, but it seems like a very tragic past, so it probably won't be that fun to watch either, so... But, But interesting that she had such a she talked about her fear of being lonely again. So I guess that's why she's kind of grasped onto Fine so much. Is Fine might have been one of the first people that that kind of stayed with her and maybe even saved her, and maybe that's why she puts up with the bit of like torturing and stuff like that, is because it's far better than the loneliness she's felt in the past kind of thing. Which any character that has that kind of personality, I could definitely see Hibiki being able to win over with her like pacifist attitude. Obviously it's going to take some time and it's not going to be easy, but the fact that she doesn't want to be lonely, if you know, if they can just manage to talk a bit more, I do wonder if Hibiki can break through that outer shell that, you know, or that wall that Chris is putting up kind of thing, and become friends with her. So I definitely think that that's a possibility. That was the first thing I thought of when you know, we saw that past, and then as soon as we had kind of Hibiki introducing herself the way she did during that fight, it definitely made me wonder if it would ever go that route. And I'm sure it'll take some time, I imagine, because she seems very hateful. I don't even understand, like, I want to learn more about her past, because it's interesting that someone would reach out to her and she'd reject them so thoroughly. As someone who seems to have suffered so much in the past, I would think that she would want to like grasp out to anyone, but I also think there's a bit of a, maybe like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing, where she's been taken in by Fine and has kind of been converted to anything I do has to please Fine, and being friendly with this girl isn't going to please Fine. I was sent here to do this, so I'm going to do it. But at the same time, she also said that she was supposed to capture her, but she was going to go a little bit against the orders and beat the shit out of her. So that makes me think like maybe it isn't as much like Stockholm Syndrome, because wouldn't that, if everything she was doing was to just please Fine, and she knew that it wouldn't please Fine to beat the shit out of Hibiki, then she wouldn't have done that. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I'm really curious. Maybe she just has like a lot of trust issues and can't trust someone right out the gate, kind of thing. But once again, we're gonna learn more about Chris's backstory. We got the flashes here, so we're definitely gonna be getting more probably pretty soon. So I look forward to it, because she seems like a very hateful person when she was talking to Hibiki, but when she was by the dock, it felt like she was someone that needed help. And I think that's the perfect kind of person for Hibiki to encounter, as Hibiki being someone that wants to help people. So, yeah. But great episode, guys. Absolutely loved it. As you guys kind of mentioned that after, I think it was after episode 3 was kind of where the show picks up, and one of you guys in the comments mentioned that it was like typically after, I think it was either after episode 3 or 4, where you either are invested in the show or you just give up on it, kind of thing. But I've been loving it. It's been a lot of fun. And I didn't even talk about this. During the fight, I love that she couldn't manifest the weapon. She got kind of got close to making something, but she generated some kind of energy and she channeled it into her fist instead, which was really cool. And I like the gauntlet thing that pushed back, and then when she punched, it kicked forward. It was a really cool mechanic. I kind of expected it to do that. It reminds me a lot of Midoriya from My Hero Academia. His boots, they do that, where they like kind of, he kicks and then they punch out for like an extra push. And I've just seen other shows where they have like, where they punch and then there's something that gives it some extra force, and stuff like that. So that was really cool as well. That was probably not, there's been plenty of interesting like fight mechanics that we've seen, but that's one of my favorites right there. That was just really entertaining to watch. But yeah. I also didn't talk at all about Tsubasa being a slob. I just wrote that down for the hell of it. But I relate. I used to be that way, especially where I just didn't care to clean up. But I think it's so weird how, for some reason, just getting older, there's some part of me that has been enjoying being more cleaned up. I think there's some kind of like, chemical in your brain that you start feeling when you get older, where you like seeing things clean just is satisfying. And I've been cleaning a lot more than I used to. But God, I used to be a pretty big slob as well. So I feel you, Tsubasa. But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon as usual. This was a Patreon show, so if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can get the rest of the season right now, and possibly future seasons on there as well. Check it out if you're interested. Link in the description below, or it should be popping up on the screen. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.